Okay, good evening, everybody. Great to see you guys here. So I'm just gonna get started very quickly. So because of last time's incident of YouTube, I actually going to record this on my local machine as well. So if it happens that YouTube cut off my video again, it's not going to last forever, which is very unfortunate. But let's just get started. So I have a relatively smaller paper today, so hopefully we can try to wrap it up as fast as possible. And seeing one of the things about this scenery, the snow, is that there's going to be quite a bit of white here, so hopefully we can try to get it finished as soon as possible. Okay, so let's just start with the drawing. And I think in terms of the drawing, there's not that much to see here. Let me try to adjust this a little bit. Okay, so in terms of drawing, we just got the sky, the ground, the houses, trees, the horse. I might add a figure. I am not quite sure just yet. Maybe something like really small, maybe somebody like next to the horse or somebody tending to the horse. But I think, yeah, we're not gonna do a lot for this painting. So anyways, let's just get started, shall we? Okay. All right. So start off by, let's figure out where the house should be. Now the barns on the right is definitely probably one of the most important house there. What size? I am not quite sure. Here's the size. Okay, and this is Baohong from Baohong, right? It's a Chinese brand. So here's the size. Get a screen grab. 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay. So there we go. Let's have a house. I think we're gonna make the house maybe a little bit lower here today, just to maybe getting a little bit more sky. So I'm just drawing a rectangle for the house, and then there's another house here and another one. This 3 houses is very evenly spaced, so I might change a little bit. I'll have this house move to a little bit to the left, and I'll have another one that actually go off the frame. So we'll have 3 houses here. I'm gonna take one of the house out. So this is merely a reference. Good morning there. It's a pretty nice paper. It's just it's actually a lot cheaper than Saunders and Arches, and I think it's actually very, very good and very useful. Anyways, so we got a bunch of trees back there. I'm just very loosely defining the shape here. We got some nice branches here. I'll try to do that just with the brush. I'm not gonna do much here. And so we got a tree here. Okay, sort of like a shrub. But I think it's actually a nice important detail here. So I'll kind of roughly draw that in here. So we got a tree here. Okay, so a little tree here, and then of course we got our famous evergreen tree here that Seattle is known for. And let's actually, let me see. So we got our house here. Maybe raise it up just a little bit. We'll have 1 horse. Still kind of debating where I should be. Maybe I'll put a figure here. I'm just gonna roughly put it here, and I have the horse kind of next to the person. So horse, maybe around here. again, I'm just drawing a rectangle here. And here's a horse that's not facing us. It's kind of like a horse, but I will probably not draw it like that. It's kind of unpleasant in a way. So maybe I have two smaller ones back there. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna step back a little bit and looking at our composition here. So it feels a little bit more busy here. I'm wondering if I should do something to kind of balance what's going on there. So let's see here. Oh, well, actually, we're gonna have our branches here, so we might have a little bit of vegetations here. So you can see from the photo, there's a lot of vegetations in the foreground. I'm not gonna paint that much because it's going to be kind of distracting, but there's no way I can go over that because I'm actually kind of behind those, and if I need to cross it to take a photo, it's gonna be trespassing. And that's illegal in USA, so I was just taking a photo on the side of the road here. Okay, now let's get down to the drawing a little bit more. So we have our figure here, right here. So our vanishing point, our horizon will be around here. That's where our horizon is going to be because the figure is right here. So let's just going a little bit detail here. I'm gonna tweak this camera a little bit so you guys can see. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. And I'll just start by doing this house right here. And some of the pencil line shows through, and I think especially for landscape, is for scenery, it's not that big of a deal. Sometimes it kind of helps actually. So okay, so I'm just gonna do the barn here. Okay, so the roof coming down around here. This roof is quite large. And cut it down a little bit though, I think. There we go. Take that out. Okay, so okay. And there's another one on top here. Sitting right on top of the roof. It's kind of like an attic or a second floor kind of stuff. Like the sling should be sort of parallel here. Okay. And the most important thing for this barns are the roof, so that's where we're gonna try to leave some nice white for those. So there's another house here in the distance. I'm just gonna roughly put that in. And I think I'll do like a figure here, maybe like a farm owner, caretaker of the horse and such. And maybe I will have him sort of standing like so. Maybe he's picking up something, like a bucket or something. I'm not sure. Somebody who works in the farm here. So there's two legs, and we'll probably have him wearing like a big jacket, coat or something. It's a snowy day, right? Okay. And greeting from Dubai. Okay, so if my memory served me right, I think the horses will be about this tall to an adult. Okay, so like when a horse head goes up, it's probably a little bit. It's definitely taller than average adult, but this horse is his head is kind of going straight like that. So I think this will do. But we are definitely comparing. This is our scale reference right here. So like the horse scale need to kind of helping. Okay, the leg here, the body of the horse, and the horse joint kind of goes forwards like that. I'm not an expert on drawing horse, so before a horse of that distance, it should be fine. Oh, you mean like this, the connection on my end or your end? Let me see here. Okay, I'll try to watch closely, but it kind of looks fine on my end, but again, I can't be so sure, so we'll see. Here we go. Alright, so let's define the silhouette of the horse a little bit more. The back is not completely straight, so it is a certain size here, so I don't want to just make it look weird. Okay, but so that's a horse. Hopefully that will do. And then we'll do another 2 horse here. For this 2, I can be a little bit less detailed. It's just fine. So maybe I'll have this horse kind of, the head's gonna go down and it's kind of grazing here. It's eating some shrub, whatever it is. Or they're eating snow. Just some legs here. And okay. Okay, so we got a guy here with his horse and another 2 horse in the distance. I think that makes a good distance. Getting a good depth. And so this 2 houses here, I think I'll just keep it pretty loose and lay back there. And another house here. So I'll make it a little bit closer so we're not so evenly spaced, because that looks a little bit weird here. And I'll make that house maybe a little bit taller. Let me see. I'm trying to compare the height. Actually, it shouldn't be as tall as this house. That would be weird. So if I draw the line over there, maybe a little bit shorter here. Okay, so the house should actually be this tall. Okay, just pretty tall roof there. Okay, and then I'll have to move this down a little bit. Yeah, that will look a little bit more correct in terms of the perspective. Okay, so as simple as this is, I think we still need to kind of be careful with it, not to make things look awkward, because this should be the biggest house here. Okay. Okay, here we go. So trying to sketch out of a person here around this size. Okay, yeah, I think this is good. All right. So anything else we need to do? I think this is pretty much it. There are some stick, sort of like a fence. So I think I might hint a little bit of fence maybe here. That's. So I'm making this up as I go. Oops. So there's I have like a fence here, and maybe another one here. One into the foreground here. And so on. That's pretty much it. Hi Jim, good to see you. Alright, let's start our painting. Okay. So take our big brush here. So it is a overcast day. It should be, otherwise it's not going to snow if there's no cloud above. When I took the photo, it's actually snowing, like literally there's snow falling down. So it is kind of like an overcast day. We'll make it relatively cool. Okay, I think before I start, I'm gonna erase some of the messy lines that I make. We don't need that much. We don't need that many lines here. Okay. So as I'm mixing the color here, I'm also starting to think about my compositions. Okay, everything looks good. Where do I need to leave it white as I come down the wash? So those are the things that is going through my mind as I'm speaking to you and as I am mixing the color. So nice cobalt blue. Let me do a quick test. Okay. Okay, now nice big brush that will help me to create a nice clean wash here. Okay, here we go. Okay, making sure there's plenty of moisture, and then we see that bead there, and we'll add a little bit of more blue, and we continue the wash down. See how the line see how that bead just flow down. We got some more here, and okay, a little bit more blue, and I'll actually start to add a little bit of burnt umber, just a little bit, to start neutralize this a little bit. Okay, so a fraction darker, but not by much. And as we come down here, I add a little bit more warm color without going back to the water bucket. Okay, you don't want this to go back to the bucket, otherwise it's going to actually looks kind of weird. It's actually going to get you too much water, and you don't want that much water in this stage. Okay, so down here, see I stop right here. I am going to try to be careful, but also not so bogged down and paint, leave out the rooftop where the snow is accumulating. We actually haven't snow here this year. I mean, not that I'm complaining, because when it snows, it's pretty cold. So we have a relatively warm winter this year. I mean, I'm not complaining about the weather, but I'm definitely missing snow a little bit. And I mean, whenever there's snow, kids are always kind of happy, and they like to play in the snow. So there we go. Okay, so kind of careful. Paint around the roof. Okay. Here we go. Have a little bit more. So just leave the roof white. The rest of it you can paint over. Lay that wash down, okay? So nice and clean here. Okay, so here I'm stopping there, okay? And because there's snow on the ground, so we're actually going to have a nice distinct line between the two. However, I think some of the areas I'm inclined to kind of lose some of the area. Like, doesn't have to be hard edge all over the place. So maybe a little bit soft edge here, not everywhere. I actually like this part a lot. Let me zoom it in for you guys. So look at this rough edge here. It kind of happened by accidental, but then when it happens, it actually looks quite nice because it actually feels like, oh, there's some snow piling up there. So sometimes if it happens, let it happen. It's actually quite nice. Okay. All right, change back to the overall view. And I think for the snow here, while it is all white, I think we can still maybe just give it a little bit of depth here. So I'll just give it some water, just clean water here. Hope you guys are doing well. I've been painting portraits, and this weekend I was doing some commission work with iPad and doing a portrait of a family and a dog. So I haven't do scenery for a little bit. I'm actually kind of miss it. So now it's a good time that I kind of get back to it. So this is just some kind of textures, a little bit unevenness. Keep it relatively light and transparent. Okay. So a little bit of neutral gray, but let's shift it to the cool side a little bit more, a little bit ultramarine blue here. And let's just there we go. A little bit of wet on to wet fun here. Okay, again, there's some rough edges. I'll leave it be. Here we go. Now this already, that soft and hard edge, that already give a little bit illusion of layering. So it's quite interesting how the couple of edges can do for you. This actually feels like some snow pile up there. Okay, let's soften this edge just a little bit more. A little bit soft edge here. And let's splatter some water on top, really. Get a little bit of that texture going on here. All right, there we go. All right, just gonna let it flow for the time being. Let's look at the sky. It's not completely dry yet, so I will blow it dry just so that we can save some time here. Alright, just shrink the reference so you can see the whole picture. Let me blow it dry real quick. Okay, I blow dry for quite a while because I need to make sure this is completely dry because I'm going to re-wet the surface and paint it. And Khan, thanks for being here. A lot of people are tuning in from morning, which is awesome. It's nice 30 here. Okay, so let's do that. So we have a bunch of evergreen tree back there. So the thing that I really need to do here is to create the depths. You can see how dark the background tree is, and that is what I'm seeing in real life. But if I just copy that, it's going to get heavy very, very quickly. So I want to create some depths. I'm going to make those trees very light, and hopefully it will create the depths that we need here. Okay, it's a snowy day, and I don't want to create such a heavy mood here. Okay, so I'm going to just re-wet the surface. Okay, so this is where the tree is going to be, so I'll re-wet a little bit randomly, but mostly. Okay, I want some nice soft edge here. And now mix a nice blue here, a touch of cobalt turquoise, but mostly blue. Okay, might actually add a little bit of cerulean blue because it's more like a warm blue there, and it's a little bit granular, but I think it might help a little bit. So I don't know, I'm just gonna do a test here. So there we go. I actually kind of like it, but let's just neutralize it just a little bit. Still need to make it feel like it's some sort of a tree here. So here we go. Here we have some nice subtle blue. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more cerulean blue here. Okay, so I like this color. I think I'll just keep it that. And it's raining in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, which is quite nice. I like to paint with rain, sound of the rain in the background. So I'm picking up the paint. I'm using the tip of the brush. I will show you there. Okay. Wet onto wet, but if you use the tip of your brush, you can still have a nice controlled shape here. Okay, and your mixture needs to be at a certain dryness. You can't have your mixture too wet. This is not a first wash intensity. Okay, so there we go. Okay. Looking at my reference, and I improvise as I go. So some of this right here. So I'll make one a little bit higher, so it actually got a little bit of hard edge. Couple ones here, and then come down here. Okay. So there we go. That looks like it's having some good depths there. Okay, so a little bit more blue here. Good morning, Khan. I already say good morning in case you didn't hear me. Okay. Okay, there we go. I think this is like a very important part. And now I have one that's maybe a little bit tall here, but as we go to the left side, we'll need to shrink them down a little bit. Okay, let's see the whole view here. Okay, paint over the house, not a big deal here. And as we come down here, we're starting to have some broken edges, which is fine. Mostly we mostly want the soft edge there. Okay, so maybe a little bit more here. Okay. A little bit darker in some of the area, so we got a little bit of the layering in between. So a little bit more dark here, but remain soft. So we still got some evergreen shades. So now it feels kind of like 2 layers, but if you squint your eyes, still feel like one. So some wet on wet, you know, some wet on wet work. Okay, now I need to go a little bit quicker here. Hello from Ohio, hello from New York. It's pretty late there. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, starting to dry out. I need to kind of re-wet this area. Okay. Bring this wash down before it's dry. If it's dry, then you're gonna have some weird edges. You don't want that. Okay. Okay, so again, some nice blue here. So we're deviating quite a bit from our original photo. Give it a center, trunk, and then some leaves. That's how I paint evergreen tree. A straight trunk and some leaves on the side. Okay. And there we have some trees here and there. Okay. So I'm using the side of my brush and just create some textures here. Okay. I'm going to spray a little bit of water, just a little bit. sorry, I'm gonna need to step out just a little bit. Okay, I'm back. All right, let's just keep it going. I'm looking back, I'm stepping back a little bit, and before it is completely dry, I am trying to figure out if there's thing I can still do. I think I'm going to lose this edge a little bit. Okay, so it's not going to be so clear cut. It's a little bit in the background, so I actually want to mess it up just a little bit. There we go. Okay. I think this is good. Okay. And we'll work on this house right now. Okay. That's from another camera. It's a little bit more contrast here, so you can see it a little bit better. So you can still tell the difference here. Okay, just it's just you can still tell the contrast here. I'll start to, once I get to this tree here, you're gonna sense the depths a lot better. Okay, plus there's going to be some other trees here. After it's dry, I'm gonna get into that. But I think we can work on the house a little bit. So let's zoom it in a little bit, and then, hi Robert, good to see you. So for this house, we want it to be dark and warm. So burn umber, and I'll add a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit more burn umber. Get it dark but warm. So some burnt sienna here. Okay, so nice and slow here. And, okay, I need to be careful not to get into the wash here. Okay, here we have. So I'm painting the house, like the wall of the house. But here's the thing. This is not a coloring book. Don't try to fill everything in. Okay, so I'm painting around the head here. Don't just try to fill everything in. Okay. Leave a little bit of white here and there. And then I'm going to use neutral tint and get some dark here. Okay. Oops. Get that in a little bit. I'm gonna push the paint back with my finger. Go back. Okay, but a little bit of softish. Probably not gonna kill it. Escoda Perla. Okay, that's the brush right here. Okay, we got our Master Z's signature on it. You can buy this brush separately though, because it's actually cheaper if you buy it separately. Because if you buy Joseph's set, it comes with like a traveling brush that I rarely use. Because I bring all my brush to plein air anyway. So, oops. Okay, so this side here. like to be quite dark. Okay, but remember I like this, so I'm gonna try to keep that. So it feels like there's some snow accumulate there. We don't have to keep everything super clean. Okay. Cooler, and I'm just gonna connect this to whatever it is back there. Leave some white here, but you know, there's another building back there, and it's mostly white, that building, but I will just give it a little bit of value there. Okay. It needs to be a little bit darker, okay, especially up there where we have a very soft shadow casting by the roof from the ambient light there. And if you look closely to the building, there are actually some windows, doors, whatever. I'm just gonna hint a little bit of that in while it is still wet, so it's not going to be so hard, but kind of melts into the building itself right there. And then I should just bring this color to the roof up here, and then have that here as well, following the roof shape. Okay, it's building on top of the roof, and then our soft shadow underneath the roof here. A little bit of window. There. And let's give it a tiny bit of something here. Okay, otherwise the roof looks way too clean. It's kind of weird. Even with snow, let's give it just a little bit of a texture here. So I come back in with the water and just, you know, just some textures, nothing much. And this pencil line is bugging me. I'm gonna erase that. Since I didn't paint over it, I can still get rid of that. Okay. Hi from Taipei. I'm from Taipei. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, this is not looking that good. Okay. A little bit too intentional, I feel. Okay. But let's zoom it out a little bit, see how it looks. Okay, now we're talking. We got some depths here. Like this house looks definitely gives a nice depth there. Let me see if I can scratch out a little bit of paint just to give this. Okay, so feels like there's some. So it feels like there's some fence and whatever that's going on back there, but we really don't need to give it that much detail here. Okay. Okay. a little bit more detail. I see some dark down there. What that is, I don't know, but I know that a little bit of detail won't hurt. Just something for people to look at. A little bit of visual interest there. There we go. Of something, yeah. And we have that there. And after that is dry, we can do some trees up there, and that will look great. Okay. A little bit of stuff here. And I think we can actually work on the figure at the same time. Good morning from Belgium. Good morning there. Okay. So that's... okay, so I am actually going to just give it a hat or like a something here. Okay, like a hat there. I will deal with his skin color a little bit later, but I got a hat there. And that's... yeah, it's giving a like a blue shirt here. A black kind of navy coat here. So okay, maybe a little bit higher. Okay, nice thick coat. Okay, it's cold, so we need to dress to the occasion here. Okay, down here, let's have his hand kind of come out like that, and another coat here. I don't really have a reference of a figure. I'm just improvising here. Okay, and good morning from Saudi Arabia. Wonderful. It's so nice to see people all over the world tuning in. It's amazing. I was just talking to a friend the other day. I feel like that, you know, if it wasn't for the internet, I probably won't even know her in the first place. That we live in, you know, different side of the world, and because of the internet we get to know each other and then able to actually connect and talk to each other. I think it's amazing what internet has accomplished here. While, you know, some people might be kind of against what internet has done for the generation, for me it's just a powerful tool that I'm able to get to connect with you guys, get to know, just get to know, connect with more people, and either with my art or just the content that I put out. I think it's just amazing that we're able to do this in this day of age. Okay, there's that bucket there. Okay. Okay, now it's a good time to give it that face here. Okay. There, got that face there. There. The moment we put that face there, it start to look like a person. It's pretty nice. Let's make this coat a little bit bigger here. Okay. All right. Now it feels like he's in the snow working on something. Now that I look at it, I have a bucket right behind a horse butt. So he's picking up his poop. Okay, but anyways. Hope it will make it into a joke. Okay, let's work on the horsey here. Okay. Let me actually change it into a... let me actually change it into a Kolinsky brush, so we have a little bit more organic shape to it. Now, let's just work on that horse here. Is as few brush stroke as you can make it. Okay, don't start to fill it in like this. Okay, that's not going to look good. Okay? A nice confident stroke is always the way to go. I mean, at least that's what I think. Okay, and now the lake there. Going back and forward. Same thing here. We can kind of keep it loose here. And a little dark here. Okay, let's make this down a little bit more. And we have another lake here. Okay, I'm gonna give it some volume down here. Okay, this horse stomach and underneath the neck. We also want to give it some horse hair in his neck here. While it is still wet, you can do this. Okay, and give it some horse ear here. A little bit tilted and curved, and down here give it some volume to his cheek here. Okay, let's make the hair a little bit thicker. Okay. Does that look like horse? I hope that looks like horse. I'm not an expert on horse, but I'm looking at the reference pretty closely, so hopefully this works. Okay, it's a little bit more volume down here. Oops. Okay. You guys are so quiet. I'm like, let me know if you're still watching or if you just fall asleep. I mean, it's not a problem. I usually have very quiet crowd, so I'm not really bothered by it. I'm just worried that I'm losing you guys. That's all. But but if you are still here, definitely let me know. And if you have any question, feel free to ask. It's a lot more fun while you're tuning in live. We can have a little bit of conversation going on. I think that's the benefit of being here online, right? Okay. All right. And let's move on to the other two horses back there, which I will try to paint them relatively fast. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should just like finish this painting and use it as a little Christmas card. I think that will actually be kind of nice. Okay, so like if you live in US, there are a lot of time we have like friends just like sending Christmas greeting card to like mass mailing to all the friends and relatives and stuff, and most of the time is the family photo, right, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. I'm usually pretty lazy about it, but I think maybe I'll use this painting if it turns out good as my Christmas greeting card for this. Okay, some legs, just a little bit darker down here. Okay, this shape's kind of odd. I don't even know what this is anymore. But it's far in the distance, so I think we can probably get away with that. Okay, some tiny little lakes way in the distance, and actually some of the horse during the snowy day, they actually put like a blanket on top of them. Probably try to keep them warm or something. This looks more like a pig and like a warthog than a horse, but yeah, whatever. All right. For fans on here, I'm like mail it to every single person. I'll hope I can do that, but especially if you're not in US, you're probably gonna not going to make it on time. So, anyways, maybe I'll think of something. All right. Let me look at this. Okay. The weather's kind of cold here, so this is still not completely dry. But I think I'll use this time to maybe just make some shape as well. So I'm gonna do a little bit more of this. Actually, I'll try to do a little bit more, just like wet shapes, a little bit more here, just to kind of off balance what's going on here. So a little bit more here, and, some horizontal shape here. So just there, and okay. So actually, just some more stuff here, because like even though it is snowing, I cannot just leave it completely white, like not all of it anyways. A few areas of textures is definitely going to help. And, okay, just little stuff here and there. There we go. Okay. And without this, you won't really feel how white that is anyways. So I think it's definitely a very important part of this. Okay. And then I think we'll give it a little bit hint of shadow down here. Like, so even though it is like a snowy day and like an overcast day, just can still give it a little bit hint of shadow here. Okay, not much, just a little bit. We just need a little bit of hint of shadow here. So it feels like the horse and our guy here is sitting on something. So it's like just little dot there, and that's just all I need. So it feels like they're sitting on something. Okay. You need some footsteps too. I don't know at this scale you're actually gonna see that much. Maybe a little bit. 1, 2, 3 here. Here is 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Footstep. Here. Okay. It's kind of like I'm just playing here. Okay. Alright. Now I think this is at a good place. Actually, I can see if I can tap a little bit of dirt on this. Okay. blot this out. I don't need this way up here. Okay, a little bit of here is fine. Okay. Okay, now let's blow this dry, and I'll do some trees, and then it will be a lot better looking. Oh, sorry, I forgot to unmute. So I pre-wet some of the areas, and I come back with a nice mix of like a cool, dark, but relatively neutral. And okay. Okay. Start to abuse my brush a little bit by pushing it out, so you got a little bit of this split hair texture on it, which is great for doing vegetations and trees and stuff. And here you go, look at that. That's excellent for what I want to do here. Okay. 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 Push my brush a little bit to get that sort of custom brush treatment here. And some more here. I'm just gonna dry brush it through. But see, now you can immediately start to see the depths is coming out here. Okay, and we've got some here. Okay, every time I change the camera, it's gonna be that weird discoloration here, and sorry, so far I have nowhere there's no way I can change that. So just bear with me for a little bit, but I want to kind of close in on this for you guys to see. So what I'm doing right now is pretty much completely all improvised because I can't actually see any detail in the photo because everything is super dark there. So I'm just slowing down, get some trees in. Okay, I need a little bit more volume here. Okay, so same thing here. A little bit more volume down here. Okay, now push my brush a little bit, get that split hair, and let it become some of the leaves and loose branches and things like that. Textures. We're just painting some textures there. Let the brush kind of dance, and very, very important thing, and I said it to my student before, and I'm gonna try to say it now, is try your best not to make unconscious repetitive mark. Try to make every single brushstroke mean something. If you just mindly going like this, every stroke looks the same, your painting is going to end up dead very, very quickly, and you don't want to do that. Okay, I am not the fastest painter out there, but I prefer to slow down a little bit to think about what I'm painting. Now, that doesn't mean I'm always doing it very, very well, but I think it's a good practice when you can sometime slow it down a little bit and really think about what you are painting. Okay, so let's have let's have another tree here. Another taller one back here. And just kind of a dry dead tree with just branches and with some bunch of bushes down here. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry, because sometimes I just kind of get into it and I forgot where my camera is focusing on. So thank you for telling me, Pelly. Appreciate that. Okay, I think I might make this a little bit too complicated, so I'm gonna just unify some of the shape here. And just bring a little bit of the blue back here. Okay, so we have some lost and found edges here. We don't need everything to be so defined. Okay, it's very easy to kind of get lost with all of that. And okay, but things, places like this, that's where the magic happens. When you have like a graphic looking shape and then you got some a little bit of hints of detail there. I feel like that's where the magic is happening. So okay, oh, can get a little bit more of that here. And okay, a little bit of things going on here. Loosen up a little bit. I'm being really tight there. Okay, so I got some stuff here. Well, I'll spray a little bit of water, see if I can break up the shape just a little bit more. But as far as the tree goes, I think this is pretty much it. Now I'm gonna do like an evergreen tree over on the side. And I think with that one's help, we can push that depth even more. Okay, so got the tree trunk here. Okay, tree trunk here, and as we come down, we starting to get some of the leaves here. Okay, so okay, and down here is kind of wet, so it starts to merge with some of the shape here, which is fine. I actually kind of like that. Okay. Maybe a little bit more here so it doesn't look so even. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's make this tree a little bit thicker. Okay, it feels like a one thin trunk and then a bunch of thin leaves there. Okay, and a little bit of mixture of hard and soft edges. So I'm gonna come back with a little bit of water. I'm gonna mess some of this up, so it's not going to be so tight. I'm starting to being a little bit too tight. I don't like it. Okay, and some wetness there, and then I'm gonna grab a bigger brush. I'm gonna force myself to loosen up a lot more, and then I have some warmer trees here on the side here. get some blue back in. And this tree, or whatever that is going to come down here. That's our tree to the side here. So this doesn't matter as much. It only has to feel like there's a bunch of leaves clumping up here. So we just need to grab some darker value down here. Okay. Some darker mixtures down here, and just to create that depth there. However, as soon as we get down here, I'm going to slow down and look at the reference. That's a very nice shape there. So I'm trying my best to get that in there. Okay, this two merge down, and there we go. There we have. Okay, so some darker shape in here, and I don't know if it's thick enough for me to scrape some stuff away, but a few areas maybe. Okay. Well, we can come back with squash a little bit later, but this is probably what we want to do here. So, okay, I think this is looking fine. I feel like I'm taking too much time. I'm sorry. I saw it should be done a lot faster, but I end up spending so much time on the tree. Okay, I should work on my speed a little bit more. I really don't like myself working so so slow. So little tree branch, and get a little bit of that in there, and we should be in business. Like, all we're really trying to do here is to create some foreground elements here. So, and it's pretty thin. It's pretty thin branches with a couple of dead leaves. So, hello from France. Bonjour. Okay, there we go. So the brush stroke, like I mentioned it before, you're like a conductor and your painting is the music. So how does it look, how does it feel is completely up to you. Okay, you can have a strong note like here, get a thicker and stronger, bolder, and we can have some delicate light notes like this, and you go in and you pause a little bit and you go on again. So those are the little subtle things that you do. And I think for branches, I find out that one of the things when you do branches is that don't start to draw a lot of curved lines. Your tree will look kind of weird. Instead, try to do a little bit more straight and kind of break it down by some sessions and so on. Right? Some leaves and stuff, just a little bit. We don't need that much. Just this tiny little bit we can. Okay, use the side of my brush and get some texture in there. There we go. Okay, we just need a little bit of that. I think that should be good enough. Now let's work on this. Fence. Something I just kind of came up with. Wasn't in the photo, but I saw we need something else here. So okay, I'm pretty much just writing I. So a little bit heavier on top, like a stern here, and heavier on the bottom. Okay, that's all I'm doing. I'm writing a bunch of I's. Okay, a little bit darker up here. Get a little bit of variation here. Okay. Maybe I'll have another one here. There we got some fences here, and I'll look at my reference and I'll get some shrubs and stuff in here. Okay, some leaves and stuff, and just something here, some vegetations and stuff. Okay. I'm almost done here, guys, I promise. I don't want to keep you there for too long. Okay, a couple grass in the foreground. How does that look? Okay. Okay, some loose grass, whatever. I think we are getting close to finish. I have a little bit of that here as well. Okay, some darker shape mark here. Gonna scratch some of the line. Okay. All right. Pick up a rigger. And I'm just going to put some wires in between. Connect the dot. Everybody can do it. And here as well. Okay, I think we are almost at the end. We need a little bit more stuff here. some dirty snow and stuff, whatever it is. Some snow that might be already melting or whatever. Again, bunch of visual noise. And come back with clean water. We'll soften some of this up. Some of it I keep it hard edge. But here's a couple areas of that. And a bit here. Some horizontal quick lines. Get some more stuff in. Okay. Okay. I kind of want to give it a little bit of glaze on some of the areas because I feel that there can be just a little bit more depths. So yeah, I'm also recording it on my local machine, so if at the end YouTube decided to cut off my video again, it's not going to be lost forever. So I hate that happening again, so that's wasting everybody's time. Okay, so a little bit of the dark down here. Okay, well, I do need to paint those houses in, don't I? Okay, well, now with those houses in, this looks a lot more complete. And we'll try to do the same thing while it is still dry. While it's still wet, we add some dark detail in it, particularly against the roof here. Get some dark in there, and then yeah, I think we are pretty much done here. Okay, few areas and stuff, and I think we are good. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Anybody have any questions, thoughts before I finish this? I'm looking at places that I still need to do, but okay, maybe a little bit of sort of a shadow contact point here, but not by much. There you go. Well, thank you, Jasmine. Ooh, I think I need to give it a little bit of something down here. If I draw the tree, like the background tree, all as dark as the picture, it's going to look very flat. Well, not flat, but it's just going to look really heavy. And that's not the feel that I want to to go with for this painting. And I think, like, believe it, I done it before, like try to copy a little bit more faithful to the painting, to the reference photo. But once I start to do that, I start to feel like I'm just losing depths, and I don't want to, and I don't want to do that. I really don't want to lose all the depths that I have there. And I think for me, watercolor sceneries is all about having a good amount of depths, like as much as you can create. And I think for this painting, I really want to give it that sense of light and airiness. Because whenever there's like a snowy day, I like to go out and just breathe that air. I mean, it's cold, but it feels so nice and crisp and nice. So that's the kind of the feeling that I want to give in this painting. And I think if I paint too much dark trees on the back, it's just going to feel kind of suffocating. So anyways, I think this is pretty much it. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's an interesting one. It's a fun one. I will post the finished painting as well as the reference photo. I don't know if I'm gonna do any touch up, but I think this is going to be pretty much it. Okay, I'll tilt it up a little bit so you guys can see it. That's the full painting here. Okay, thank you guys so much. I will see you guys later. Bye.